Alright, so I wanted to make a quick video about the new album that I just released. My band just released Cody Weathers and the Men Your Mama Warned You About just a little longer. Now streaming everywhere and available on our Bandcamp for download. So I made a focus group. I invited some people to a focus group for this album, which I'll make a separate video about what I learned from that, that was a great experience, something I definitely would repeat, but very interesting to think about. Like, I got more than I bargained for out of that. But one of the things that came up was kind of a question that different people ask different ways of, in essence, is this a live album? And my short answer would be technically yes, technically no. And to elaborate on that, what I'd say is that of the 20 songs on this album, all of them began as some form of live manner recording. What's that mean? So either, in the simplest sense, they were in fact a live performance in front of a live audience. Like, we record all of our gigs, and not just with a microphone back on some table, but with isolated elements, as I've covered in some of my other videos about Zoom recorders. So like, there's this separate track for my vocal performance, my acoustic guitar, Gene's guitar, the bass, and then some mics on either the drums or percussion, whatever we're using. And that enables us to mix those performances down the same way as if we'd done it in the studio, in short. That's how we do all of our albums, is we record all of our performances, and then there's a big selection process for which things we think are sort of the best representations of the songs we're interested in having on an album. And that's kind of like, that's my focus in the production side of putting our albums together these days, whereas largely ceded the technical side of the production to Sean, our bass player, Sean Troba, because he's frankly much better at things like the mix down than I am. But not to digress, but so anyway, the more than I think 12 or so of them are live performances in front of a live audience, or that's how they began. 8 of them, 4 from each of the last 2 years, are what would be called live in studio. That's another live manner of recording, and all that really means is it's like a live performance, except there was no audience. Those came from our the last 2 years of our NPR Tiny Desk contest candidates. So what that contest stipulates is that it's got to be what you see is what you get, single live performance in front of a desk. So we all we go over to one of our houses and get in the living room in front of a desk and play songs from tip to tail. Again, recording every track, every element onto its own separate audio track so that we can mix it down like we would any other studio recording. But that is called live in studio recording. And so that's the songs like What If, Going Home, Doubt, Funeral came from one year, and then Surrender, As I Lay Bleeding, Fortnight, and How'd I Ever Lose You came from this most recent year. So the other thing that sometimes most of them fit into those two camps. Of those 12 that are live performances, there are 3 songs that come to mind. There are 3 songs, one of the live ones and 2 of the live in studio, where there were some overdubs. So, meaning that we took that live in studio performance and we added a couple things. So, notably, Funeral was a song that I originally wrote on keyboard, and we kind of missed the Wurlitzer part with a little bit richer chords and just a different texture. So I went back and overdubbed, recreated that part and and overdubbed that. So that's something that wasn't in the room at the original time. And then we had, I added backup vocals to Fortnite. I think I actually may have recut the, I believe I recut the lead vocal on that as well. Just that that's a song that it's best if I'm not fatigued to sing that one. And you know, I didn't quite have 100% voice at the time, and I thought, yeah, if we're gonna put this on an album, I'd rather do that again. That's one reason we didn't ultimately choose it for what we submitted to Tiny Desk, is that it wasn't quite 100%, but the instruments were cooking. I just needed another pass of the vocal, so I recut the vocal separately and then added a backing vocal. And then finally, Amanda was a song that the live performance was just a duet, Gene and myself. And we liked that performance so much, so we thought we should do something more with this. So I added drums. That is the only song on this album that I play drums. Everything else is our live drummer from the past 2 years, Dron Eskenazi. He's either playing drum set or he's playing percussion on all those other recordings. But on Amanda, I played the drums, as I typically have in years past, in albums past. And also added a harmony vocal. And then Sean, who hadn't been there in the original performance, added his bass part separately as an overdub in the studio. So with those caveats aside, this is not something that I would call a live album, but it definitely is live in spirit. And that's very much part of who we are as a band these days. For you know, this lineup, and that's pretty much how we've always been, is that we had a couple times where we went into the studio and it just wasn't quite our thing as much, but we're a conversational band and we're musically conversational, and to have that musical conversation, it's best if we're all, you know, just going for it at the same time. If we're all in a room, listening to each other in real time, reacting to each other in real time, you know, having that give and take in real time, it's really almost impossible to layer. You can kind of fake it, you can make a facsimile of it if you plan for it, but nothing beats the real thing, and that's a method we're very committed to. So beyond that, I think, you know, Sean may have done I have discovered a couple moments when I'm putting together the videos where the rough mix and the final mix are out of sync with each other for a short while, and that's indicative of a couple places where Sean applied some fixes in post-production during the mix, that he, you know, shuffled a few things around or tightened a few things, or you know, made them snap to grid or something. But even those are, there's a handful of such corrections that I've stumbled across. So it's another way in which it's not quite live, because we let it be polished. So it's live in spirit. Technically not a live album, but that's what we like doing, and I think you can feel that kind of energy coming through it, and hopefully that's interesting to find out about it. So check it out. Just a little longer. Streaming everywhere you listen to stuff helps us tremendously if you listen to it for free. Helps us if you download it off our Bandcamp too, for that matter. But yeah, until next time. Thanks for listening.